can start reading. Okay. So, Archana Di, you have the text with you?
Yes, Rangada, I can read.
Okay.
This,
597.
the divine reveals himself, right?
That's right. That's right.
The divine reveals himself in the world around us when we look upon that with a spiritual desire of delight that seeks him in all things. There is often a sudden opening by which the veil of forms is itself turned into a revelation. A universal spiritual presence, a universal peace, a universal infinite delight has manifested, immanent, embracing, all penetrating. This presence, by our love of it, our delight in it, our constant thought of it, returns and grows upon us. It becomes the thing that we see, and all else is only its habitation, form, and symbol. Even all that is most outward, the body, the form, the sound, whatever our senses sees, are seen as this presence. They cease to be physical and are changed into a substance of spirit. This transformation means a transformation of our own inner consciousness. We are taken by the surrounding presence into itself and we become part of it. Our own mind, life, body become to us only its habitation and temple, a form of its working and an instrument of its self expression. All is only soul and body of this delight.
This para is a very interesting one. He is telling you that when you are in the right consciousness, okay, even the most outward form can lead you to the divine. Okay, lead you means your thoughts will go. I'll give you an example. Okay, you are looking at a tree. Okay, this for instance we have this in summer we have this Krishna Chura realization. Okay, that fantastic color it has, orangish reddish color, and sometimes you will see the whole tree is absolutely aflame with that color. Now, if you are constantly thinking of the divine, you look at that and you will feel, my God, what God is capable of doing. Look at the splendor, this beauty. So even that outward, the flowers on the tree will lead you to the thought of God. And this can develop to such an extent that you will start seeing the divine even in that. Okay? It can even be a mental perception, or it can be even a more sensational perception. And ultimately, you will actually see the divine presence in it. That's what Shanvi is saying. But it's not uncommon for many ordinary people also. When you see something beautiful, okay, your thoughts go to God. He is capable of creating this magnificent splendor in the physical world. You see a beautiful flower, or you see even um, this beauty can be everywhere, even in in an animal, the texture of the skin, the texture of the fur, okay, and a beautiful human being, perfectly proportioned, okay, walking wonderfully well. So your thoughts go to the Creator. That's exactly what he's saying. Okay? The outer form becomes the occasion for the divine to reveal himself if you are in the right consciousness. That's exactly what he's telling you later on also. The change is not in the outer form, the change is within yourself. Okay? I read each sentence, and with this comment, I think it will be very clear what he's saying. The divine reveals himself in the world around us when we look upon that with a spiritual desire of delight. Okay? You must be able to see, take delight in beautiful. Normally, we become very, what you call in French, blasé. We become very used to it. And even when you see beautiful things, your soul is not stirred. You just look, yes, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's okay, fine. But if you look with the curiosity of a child, okay, an innocent child, then you will see the beauty in everything. Okay? First of all, it's in things which are really beautiful, but ultimately, even the ugly things also you start seeing the divine. Okay, so it's a spiritual desire of delight that seeks Him in all things. There is often a sudden opening by which the veil of forms is itself turned into a revelation. That's exactly what we discussed. I give you the example of revelation of forms, flowers. Okay, but it can go to anything. It can go to a magnificent sunset. Okay, or a rainbow. Okay, your thought will immediately go to the beauty. Who has created this beauty? And your thought will go to God. And then afterward, you will start seeing the divine presence also in that magnificent thing. Okay. There is often a sudden opening by which the veil of forms is itself turned into a revelation. The universal spiritual presence, a universal peace, a universal infinite delight has manifested, immanent, embracing, all penetrating. When it is immanent, it is the individual. It is there in everything. Embracing is more the cosmic consciousness. Okay? All penetrating, it is everything. The one in the all in the one. Okay? And the all becoming the many. This chapter uses different words for this. Okay, you can see immanent is the individual. Okay? Embracing is the cosmic. And all penetrating is the one becoming the many. You see, Srivdar uses different words, but you must understand basically the same thing repeating in different words. You can very clearly see this here. Immanent, the one in the many. Okay? He is there in every creature, every animal, every human being, every stone. Immanent. Embracing. When you go in the universe, he embraces the whole universe. And that is the many in the one. We can see it embracing in that sense, many in the one. And all penetrating, the one becoming the many. It penetrates into it and becomes the many. Okay? So these words, when you look at, you have to get back to the basic idea of what he is trying to say. Okay? This presence, by our love of it, our delight in it, our constant thought of it, returns and grows upon us. It becomes a thing that we see. And that means you actually start seeing the divine presence everywhere. Of course, that's at a very high level. But even before that high level also, the beauty in the physical world will give you a delight and your thoughts will go to God. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing, you will even start seeing the presence in the beauty. That's the second one. And the third one, you can actually see the divine also in everything. Okay? So, this presence, by our love of it, our delight in it, our constant thought of it, returns and grows upon us. It becomes the thing that we see, and all else is only its habitation. Okay? The habitation has now become the shelter for the divine presence, form and symbol. Even all that is most outward, the body, the form, the sound. Okay? He's saying very clearly, it can be sound also. Beautiful sound also can take you like that. Okay? Even smells. Okay? Even smells. Okay? If you see, some of these flowers have such fantastic smell. The flowers, Satchidananda, even the ordinary champa, the psychological perfection. The smell is so beautiful. You wonder who has created this magnificent smell. Okay? So that's what happened. Then from there, your thoughts will go there, and then you start realizing that he is creating everything. Okay? So, and even all that is most outward, the body, the form, the sound, whatever our senses sees, are seen as his presence. They cease to be physical and are changed into a substance of spirit. The way you look at things, it becomes a totally different experience. First, you see only a flower with certain colors. Then you start seeing the beauty. Finally, you will start seeing the divine presence in the whole thing. This transformation means a transformation of our own inner consciousness. Now, that's a very interesting sentence. I'll link it to what Mother has said. If you want to change the world, change yourself. That's what Mother has said. Now, first time when you come to hear this, you find it very funny. Okay? If I change myself, how will I change the physical world? Okay? So this is what strikes you. But you have to understand it in the right way. It means to say that your view of what you are seeing will change. The world will change because of your view. A tree will not become something else. A dog in the street will not become something else. Okay? But when you start seeing the divine everywhere, okay, then you change yourself, your perception, and how you are seeing these things also changes. Okay? So that's exactly what it meant. And that's what Srindra is saying in this sentence. This transformation means the transformation of our own inner consciousness. The thing outside is not changing. You have changed your way of looking, and that has an effect in the physical world for you. We are taken by the surrounding presence into itself, and we become part of it. Our own mind, life, body become to us only its habitation and temple. And if the divine is there, it becomes a temple. Okay? A form of its working and an instrument of its self-expression. All is only soul and body of this delight. All is only soul and body of this delight. Everything in the physical world that you see, this ananda is there everywhere. And that way you start seeing when you change yourself. Okay? So we can go to the next sentence now. The next para. So, Archana, we read. Now, Shilpa, you have the text with you?
Yes, I have.
Okay, will you read? This is the
Yes,
divine
yes.
scene.
Yes, I'm reading. This is the divine scene around us and on our own physical plane. But he may reveal himself above. We see or feel him as a high uplifted presence, a great infinite of Ananda above us or in it. Our Father in heaven, and not feel and do not feel or see him in ourselves or around us. So long as we keep this vision, the morality in us in, inquelled by that immorality, it feels the light, power, and joy and responds to it according to its capacity, or it feels the descent of the Spirit, and it is then for a time transformed or else uplifted into some luster of reflection of the light and power. It becomes a vessel of the Ananda, but at other time it lapses into old morality and exists or works dully or wittily in the ruck of its earthly habits. The complete redemption comes by the descent of the divine power into the human mind and body and the remolding of the inner life into the divine image. What the Vedic seers call the birth of the sun by the sacrifice. It is in fact by a continual sacrifice or offering a sacrifice of adoration and aspiration of works of thought and knowledge of the mounting flame of the Godward will that we build ourselves into the being of this infinite.
So, in the previous para, he has spoken about the form. Okay? Now he is talking about the in the universe, okay, around us. Okay? So he is graduating from there. And then finally he will tell you above in the superconscious. This is the divine seen around us and on our own physical plane. But he may reveal himself above. You may not see him in the universe, but you will see him above, the transcendent consciousness. We see or feel him as a high uplifted presence, a great infinite of Ananda above us, or in it. Okay? In it, the great infinite of Ananda above us, or in it, our Father in heaven. And do not feel or see him in ourselves or around us. That's exactly what happens normally. This transcendent, the cosmic, and the individual, you don't always have all the three experiences together. You have them one by one because of the human limitation. And then as you keep growing higher and higher in consciousness, the two can merge, or sometimes in the last level, three can merge. That's what Sridhar wants. But each one is so satisfying that you are more than satisfied. Okay? That's what Sridhar is pointing out here. And do not feel or see him in ourselves or around us. So long as we keep this vision, the mortality in us is quelled by that immortality. So this is a very interesting sentence. If you see the divine presence, okay, you feel yourself to be immortal. You know that you have always existed because your consciousness is now not the normal consciousness of the body-mind life. It's a consciousness of the self, or it's a self, consciousness of the self. Because the consciousness of the psyche will give you the first experience that he has spoken about. But this is above, okay, above himself. So this is the transcendent. So that can only be the self. Okay? And when you go to the self, you realize that you have always existed and that you will always exist in future. That's the immortality. So that's exactly what we meant by and quelled. Look at that. The mortality in us is quelled, silenced, made inoperative, okay, quelled, reduced, okay, by that immortality. It feels the light, power, and joy and responds to it according to its capacity. Okay? That's why he has used the word quelled. It doesn't become absolute. It depends on your capacity, and it may be you are seeing yourself a little bit, but you're also identified with the body-mind life. So mortality is still there, but part of you feels you're immortal. But if you are very, very advanced in your development, then you will feel yourself to be immortal. It feels light, power, and joy and responds to it according to its capacity. Or it feels the descent of the spirit, and it is then for a time transformed or uplifted into some luster of reflection of the light and power. Note the word for a time. Okay? In the beginning, it's always a temporary experience. Then it becomes a reality and a realization. That's the difference. So, and it is then for a time. No human being can get the permanent spiritual status at once. Not possible. Because we are starting from the lowest level, the body, okay, mind and life. We are starting from there. Okay? So, for a time, transform. You will feel yourself totally transformed, or else uplifted into some luster of reflection of the light and power. There are many people who, when they get the first touch like that, they feel themselves to be completely transformed for a short time. For some people, it's about a week. Some people, it may be even months. Okay? I know one case where it has lasted for 1 week. And after that, all the old habits came back. Okay? That's 1 week. But I had a friend, I told you, when he had experienced himself, it lasted for about 6 months. And slowly, it goes away. Or, as I told you, you can experience even for 2 hours. Okay? That also is possible. Okay? For a time. It's a very small phrase, for a time, but you must understand the implication. Okay? Transformed or else uplifted into a luster of reflection of the light and power. It becomes a vessel of the Ananda. What becomes a vessel of the Ananda? Your being. Okay? Your being becomes a vessel of the Ananda. The Ananda pours itself into you. It may be the mind, it may be the vital, it may even be the body. Okay? But at other times, it lapses into the old mortality and exists or works dully or pettily in the ruck of its earthly habits. That's exactly what we were discussing. When you fall back, you are back to your old nature. Okay? Mother says something very interesting. She says that when you have experience and when you come back, les mauvais plis se reform. In other words, like a cloth which has to be ironed out, and it's full of creases, okay? And when you have the experience, it is like the cloth is ironed fully, okay? Absolutely smooth and nice. But as soon as the experience passes, the old creases come back again into the cloth. Okay? That's exactly what he's describing here. Okay? But other times it lapses. Okay, it falls back, lapses into the old mortality. Old mortality means your old nature. Okay, the old habits will come back. But when that lasts, all these old habits disappear. You have a new consciousness. It disappears but comes back. But at other times it lapses into the old mortality and exists or works dully or pettily in the ruck of its earthly habits. Now, I don't know if you know the word ruck. I also don't know, so I just check it and I enter it afterwards. Ruck. Yes. RUCK. Ruck. I'm not getting it. All sorts of other things are coming, but not ruck. Maybe it's a very colloquial thing. I'll have to see later on. Oh, it is. Okay. Just 1 second. Yeah. Ruck. A large quantity, large number or quantity, a mass of something, undistinguished people or things. It's a large quantity. The ruck of its earthly habits. That means the correction of all the old habits. Okay, so that's what it means. The complete redemption comes by the descent of the divine power into the human mind and body and the remolding of their entire life into the divine image. What the Vedic seers call the birth of the sun by the sacrifice. The sun is a very common word used in the Christian terminology, okay, their theory. Then the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The Father is the transcendent. The Son is the individual. And the Holy Ghost is the universal, the cosmic. The 3 levels. Okay. So Sridhar is saying here, the complete redemption comes by the descent of the divine power. Where is it gone? Okay. What the Vedic seers called the birth of the sun. In other words, you realize the divine in yourself, okay, by the sacrifice. It is in fact a continual sacrifice or offering, a sacrifice of adoration and aspiration of works of thought. Aspiration of works of thought and knowledge of the mounting flame of the Godward will. The Godward will. When you're thinking constantly of the divine, slowly these changes will come. Okay? That will build ourselves. The Godward will that we build ourselves into the being of this infinite. So now we can go to the next para. Suki, you will read. Kiran can't read, she doesn't have the text. When we possess firmly.
Shall I read?
Yes, I will.
Oh,
No, Suki is going to read. After that, Jasmine can read. When
no,
we
after
possess.
that I'll leave because I have surgery. I have
Oh,
surgery, so I will leave.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
You read. Jasmine, you read. When we possess.
When we possess firmly this consciousness of the Ananda Brahman in all of these 3 manifestations, above, within, around, we have the full oneness of it and embrace all existence in its delight, peace, joy, and love. Then all the worlds become the body of the self. But we have not the richest knowledge of this Ananda. If it is only an impersonal presence, largeness, or immanence that we feel, if our adoration has not been intimate enough for this being to reveal to us, out of its wide extended joy, the face and body, and make us feel the hands of the friend and lover, its impersonality, is the blissful greatness of the Brahman, but from that can look out upon us the sweetness and intimate control of the divine personality. For Ananda is the presence of the self and master of our being, and the stream of its outflowing can be pure joy of his Leela.
So, is the last paragraph of the chapter. When we possess firmly this consciousness of the Ananda Brahman, the Brahman has got so many aspects. There is the Brahman is the aspect of the Sat, the aspect of the Chit, the aspect of the Shakti, and the aspect of the Ananda. So it depends on when you experience each aspect separately, you have different philosophies and different realizations. Okay? So when we possess firmly this consciousness of Ananda Brahman in all the three manifestations, see, again and again, Srimad refers to the transcendent, the cosmic, and the individual. Now you will tell me which one corresponds to which. Above, within, around. So very clearly you can see above is the transcendent, within is the individual, and around is the cosmic. See how he uses his words to express the same thing. So this is why we pay so much attention to the words that he uses. Okay? Yeah. We have the full oneness of it and embrace all existences in its delight, peace, joy, and love. Okay? Not only delight, but also peace and joy and love. Okay? These things go together always. Beauty, joy, and love are three things that always go together. Then all the worlds become the body of this self. We start seeing the divine everywhere. But we have not the richest knowledge of this Ananda if it is only an impersonal presence, that means the above, okay? Impersonal presence, the transcendent. If it's only transcendent, you don't have the fullness, largeness or immanence that you feel. So even the cosmic also is not enough, and the individual also is not enough. You must have all the three together. So here also you can see largeness or immanence. Impersonal presence, transcendent. Largeness, very clearly, is referring to the universe. And immanence, the individual. See again how he has used different words, but he is referring back to the same experience with different words. Okay? That we feel if our adoration has not been intimate enough for this being to reveal to us out of its wide extended joy the face and body and make us feel the hands of the friend and lover. If you have all the three, you will experience him. You will experience the divine as a friend and lover. Its impersonality is the blissful greatness of the Brahman. But from that can look out upon us the sweetness and intimate control of the divine personality. The Brahman is usually the impersonal. But now you have the divine personality, the personal aspect of the divine. The last sentence of the para, for Ananda is the presence of the self and master of our being, and the stream of its outflowing can be the pure joy of the Leela. So that completes the chapter. The chapter is the Ananda Brahman. Now the next chapter is the mystery of love. The time is 8:29. We got 10 minutes. Maybe we can read the mystery of love. And after that, is the mystery of love the last chapter of this section? Just one second.
Yes, Rangada.
Yes. Yeah, it's the last chapter. And after that starts part 4, the yoga of self-perfection, which is Sri Aurobindo own. He's called it yoga of self-perfection. So as I told you, he has divided this into, first of all, there is an introduction about 50-60 pages. Then comes the Karma Yoga. Then comes the Jnana Yoga. Then now we are reading the Bhakti Yoga. And in that last chapter will be the mystery of love. Finally, the fourth part is his own yoga. What are the things to be done? Okay? So, we have time, so we can read 1 or 2 paragraphs. So, Seema has not read today. So Seema can read if she has the text.
Dada, Sunki Di has to read. Sunki Di is in on queue. Then I will read. Sunki Di. Sunki
Oh,
Di.
sorry. Yes, you're right. Sunki has to read.
Yes, I can read.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you for reminding me. And sorry, Sunki, I forgot.
It's okay.
Because Yasmin has surgery, so she wanted to read first. Okay, go ahead, Sunki.
Yes. The adoration of the impersonal, chapter 8, the mystery of love. The adoration of the impersonal divine would not be strictly a yoga of devotion according to the current interpretation. For in the current forms of yoga, it is supposed that the impersonal can only be thought for a complete unity in which God and our own person disappear, and there is none to adore or to be adored. Only the delight of the experience of oneness and infinity remains. But in truth, the miracles of spiritual consciousness are not to be subjected to so rigid a logic. When you first come to feel the presence of the infinite, as it is the finite personality in us which is touched by it, that may well answer to the touch and call with a sort of adoration. Secondly, we may regard the infinite not so much as a spiritual status of oneness and bliss, or that only as its mold and medium of being, but rather as the presence of the ineffable Godhead to our consciousness, and then true love and adoration find their place. And even when our personality seems to disappear into unity with it, it may still be, and really is, the individual divine who is melting to the universal or the supreme by a union in which love and lover and loved are forgotten in a fusing experience of ecstasy, but are still there latent in the oneness and subconsciously persisting in it. All union of the self by love must necessarily be of this nature. We may even say, in a sense, that it is to have this joy of union as the ultimate crown of all the varied experiences of spiritual relation between the individual soul and God that the one became many in the universe.
He's starting to explain to us the mystery of love. Because we'll just briefly say what the problem is. The thing is, when there is love, there are always two. There is a lover and a loved. Okay? But if you merge yourself into the divine, there is only one. And there can be no love. This is a novel idea. Now, Srinath is contradicting this idea and saying that this is true at the mental level, at the logical level, reason. But spiritual experience is not subject to reason. Therefore, even when you merge into the divine, love can be there. That's what he's saying. Okay? That usually it is considered that love is the path of bhakti and it has nothing to do with the path of knowledge. But in knowledge, you become one with the divine, and in bhakti, you become one with the divine through emotion. You don't become one, you enjoy the relationship. Okay? That's what is normally considered. But Srinath is saying that we need not stick to the rigid rules. Okay, so I'm reading what's the time? 34. We're about 6 minutes. You can finish this paragraph. The adoration of the impersonal divine. The impersonal divine, the transcendent, okay, would not be strictly a yoga of devotion according to the current interpretation. And the current interpretation, I just now told you. It takes two to love. And if love is there, there are two. And two means there is no union. Okay? That's exactly the logic. That's the current interpretation. For in the current forms of yoga, and the current forms of yoga are three. Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. Okay? They are the current forms of yoga. Why is saying current? Because there can be many other types of yoga also. Okay? For instance, there is Kriya Yoga. Okay? Then there are many other types of yogas. Then Srinath's own yoga is also different. Integral yoga. So the current forms is usually these three. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Current forms of yoga, it is supposed that the impersonal can only be sought for a complete unity in which God and our own person disappear, and there is none to adore or to be adored. Only the delighted experience of oneness and infinity remains. But in truth, the miracles of spiritual consciousness are not to be subjected to so rigid a logic. The logic is applicable only up to the mental level. But the moment you go beyond the mind, logic is completely fails. The divine logic comes in. See, they use the words logic of the infinite. Okay? It's not illogical, it's not irrational, but it is beyond the rationality of the mind. That's what it means. But in truth, the miracles of spiritual experience are not to be subjected to so rigid a logic. When we first come to feel the presence of the infinite, as it is the finite personality in us, which is troubled by it, that may well answer to the touch and call with a sort of adoration. In the beginning, when you approach the divine, there can be this touch. Secondly, we may regard the infinite not so much as a spiritual status of oneness and bliss. Now he is explaining, okay, how it can be one. Union and love can be both possible together, he is explaining. Secondly, we may regard the infinite not so much as a spiritual status of oneness and bliss, not oneness, but that only as its mold and medium of being, but rather as a presence of the ineffable Godhead to our consciousness. The divine is there. And then too, love and adoration find their place. So if the infinite, ineffable divine is Godhead is there, then union and love are both possible at the same time. And even when our personality seems to disappear into unity with it, it may still be and really is the individual divine who is melting to the universal or the supreme by union in which love and lover and loved are forgotten in a fusing experience of ecstasy, but are still there, latent in the oneness and subconsciously persisting in it. Union is there, but also love can be there. Relation as well as non-relation. All union of the self by love must necessarily be of this nature. We may even say, in a sense, that it is to have this joy of union as the ultimate crown of all the varied experience of spiritual relation between the individual soul and God, that the one has become many in the universe. So everybody is saying the divine has become one in the one has become the many in the universe precisely for this. He wants to enjoy the love and the unity at the same time. Okay, so we can stop here today. Next time we'll take up the next one. Still, the more varied and most intimate experience of divine love. Okay, so au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Ananda. Thank you.
Dada,